Hello and welcome, it's Howard from HDS Electrical, and today we are fault finding car park lights at the local pub, the Dog and Badger. Fantastic pub in the middle of nowhere, so don't expect to get any phone reception, which is actually quite nice if you want to have a lovely meal. Don't leave them in your pocket, because I've learnt the hard way. Today in man versus water, they are definitely just easier and quicker to work with, or Vargo, if you're German Austrian. And if you are, please don't be offended by my accent. I wonder why that's causing problems. You know it's bad when you're leaving wet marks on there. So here we are, this is the main, possibly the main fuse box, certainly the main supply for outside. Now we've turned on, one of the reasons was when those lights go on, all the patio lights trip out. We've got all the patio lights on and they're not on, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. They're supposedly on one RCD and it's tripping, RCBO, it's tripping, so I'm not quite sure what's happening, so we need to do a bit more investigating because I'm not sure I've safely isolated it, or I can do. I've been told they're tripping all on together, so I would have thought flicking a breaker would turn them all off, but I got what I thought was all of them on. Only those lights have come on. So those lights are controlled at least by something else, maybe on the same breaker. I'm going to check. I need to try and turn them on or trip it out, because if I can trip it out then I found it. So that is what I'm going to do now. Right, so what we're basically going to try doing first is just leaving all these wall lights on the face. There's a bunch of floodlights, little LED floodlights. They look okay, but we're going to disconnect them for two reasons. One, to try and prevent future tripping. Two, installation isn't great. I'll talk you through it in a minute. There are these other lights, big round lights. We've got a picture of one down there. There's one down here that has water in it. The one down there has grass growing out of the base, roots and all. And that is one of the problems. So as we come down here, there's just vines and growth and everything growing up here. That causes two problems. One, water, fauna, plants going into boxes, plants going into lights, degrading stuff. Two, holding, keeping water, particularly if they get all wet, get all frosty, we're holding water in place. The biggest danger from my mind, or because it's RCD, RCBO protected, probably just a tripping hazard if your devices are operating correctly, which we will test before we leave. But you've got all this foliage growing up, getting out of hand. What are they going to do? People are just going to whack in there, rip stuff out, strimmers, tools, big machine, and oh look, here's our light. Black cables, you can barely see, black lights, just a bit of flex. What's going to happen? Gardeners or landscapers, whoever clears this out, it's just going to damage that, then it's going to trip in future, or at worst case, potentially harm someone. So we're just going to disconnect all of these lights, all of those lights. These floodlights we're disconnecting from here. The big lights I'm going to block up with some waterproof boxes. I'll show you in a minute. And we're going to take all of these out all the way along, turn them on. Hopefully it doesn't trip. The good thing about it tripping is we know that RCBO is functioning pretty well, because one thing I always say to customers, I said on the way here, at least, you know, it's a pain in the bum, but at least you've got peace of mind. Your device is operating how it needs to, so it may save someone's life. Yes, that's in an extreme case, but that's why we have it. So our job as Sparkies is to make sure nothing bad can happen. Here we are at the first one we're going to do. We've got our flex cable out that way, flex cable out this way, bit of corrosion on the bits, but what I've done, disconnected the switches and neutral to both, cut the ends off that. Probably don't need to do this with an RCD, but just in case this were to fill with water, over the live and then come in contact with that before it touched the earth. If the RCD failed, RCBO failed again, I've just put these in a Wago, tuck them at the top just to add that little extra cover. So that's what we're doing. neutral up at the top where we can. We're trying to avoid disrupting that spider. A, because I don't really like to harm things if I can or disrupt nature. B, I don't like spiders. Our first one done. So I'm going to do this all the way along, and then that is how we're going to isolate the cables safely at the back of the job. This one, they've actually decided they will seal. So what we're doing, disconnect the live, that goes to the back. Disconnect. Whenever you're disconnecting, I mean, it should be safely isolated. Ooh, almost gone through there. Should be safely isolated, so it shouldn't be a problem. But I always like to go live first. That's the light with the water in it. Got to this one, and I've noticed someone's already disconnected this one. It's also got mud and stuff sat on it because of the way it's designed. Things are just going to sit on top, water, mud, moisture straight on that floodlight. I'll write a H in it. It's going to fail sooner rather than later, or it's far more likely to fail. What I'm going to do is leave these covers off, because I suddenly thought if I'm putting them all back on and it's still tripping out, I'm going to be taking them all off again. Ah, did you see that? Well, that box was open. Look, it's still dripping out now. That'll do it. And lo and behold, that is leaking. That's very wet on that neutral. So that could well be it, boys and girls. The problem we have now is we can't reseal that. We have to replace that because that's broken. We're going to put a bit of tape over it until we come back with a whisker box to change it. All right, on to the next one, Exhibit A and B. Ready for Exhibit A? Here we go. Oh look, there's our light hidden under there, buried in mud. Oh, but wait, there's Exhibit B. Nice, nice, nice. I wonder why that's causing problems. What the? I think we got an ant's nest. You filming this? There's a woodlouse nest. I've not seen that before. Wow. This is why you don't drill holes in the back of whisker boxes when there's lots of soil behind. We're going to disconnect this a few along, just take out this whole back section. Problem, 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 problem. Disconnect it over there, no problem. Needs redoing properly. Oh, I feel for them, man. And for the big lights at the back, I can't get the connections off of. Then I was hoping to get a whisker shark gel. Fantastic joints. They didn't have any. But I picked up one of these from Toolstation if I can get it open, which is looking less likely by the minute unless I do what that guy did over there and fuck the box. Worked first time after I struggled like an idiot. The other thing we're gonna do when we come back is put a second RCD on. So it can be fed from 2 RCDs. The problem is all that contactor business. It's possible to do, just what's involved in segregating the 2 circuits through all of those contactors and connections in the big grey box, so we can feed them from 2 RCBOs. So if these trip, they only knock out this. They don't affect that. If that trips, it only knocks out that. Doesn't affect this. Right, let's go see if we can turn some stuff on. It's holding. Today in Man versus Water, man won. That's really us done. So please like, share, subscribe. If you like this video, check out some of our other garden outside light videos, or check out the video just popping on your screen next. Just press it for some easy access.